Saints fans, hope y'all are excited for the weekend. But before you guys get to being able to sleep in, opening up a few brewskis, hanging out with the squad, and, maybe even join a little bit of action by the pool, got to give you the latest news and rumors around the black and gold. Welcome into Saints. Now, my name is Trace Girouard, and as always, we greatly appreciate y'all for giving us a few moments of your day. Tell you about your favorite football team. Now, really quick, I got to get you guys down in the comments section. Are you excited for some Saints football? Because, hey, preseason week 2, it'll be here before you know it. Saints versus Niners. Joint practices were canceled, but, hey, that doesn't mean that the wash party was getting canceled. We're going to be live, we're going to be having fun, and we're going to be throwing down every minute of the football game. So I encourage you to subscribe and join our watch party. But most importantly, let me know if you're pumped up about some Saints football. All right, so we got an injury update around rookie offensive tackle and first-round selection Taliese Fuaga, who's been left practice yesterday due to some back tightness, and Dennis Allen spoke to media yesterday, and then, it was kind of like, oh, boop, Taliese Fuaga's kind of hurt. That's not good. But considering how the offensive line is looking right now, I'm very concerned. And we're going to go back to the update around Taliese Fuaga here in a second. But really quick initial thoughts. You see this offensive line, and oh my God, if Taliese Fuaga can't go, that's bad news Bears. Josiah Ezerim, he left practice today with an ankle injury. That's not good. Don't like that. Oh, and by the way, Trevor Penning, still not looking like a good first-round pick selection. So, Dennis Allen spoke with media again today, and he said, I thought this was pretty important. The injury isn't anything to worry about regarding week 1. He said, you can go home and not lose some sleep over it. And so, considering the fact that the offensive line is bad and they're injured, it would be one thing if it was like, they're such a good unit, but they're just banged up. Or, no, they're a phenomenal group, but, we're just seeing the backups play. Well, I'm going to just keep it honest with you guys. I'm fucking scared. I'm terrified with how the offensive line is going to look. It's not going to be good. It will not be pretty. The preseason, sure, granted, it's backups and maybe a few starters here and there, but I'm worried. Not looking forward to it. I genuinely am scared that the offensive line is going to be the reason this entire operation fails. We know the defense is going to be elite. We know that the offense has playmakers, but if the quarterback has no time to put the ball in the playmaker's hands, or the playmaker doesn't have any ability to get past the offensive line, or they have no running lanes, makes things pretty difficult. So, considering that, there are a few offensive tackles that are still available in free agency. You could go and get the Super Bowl champion, Donovan Smith. He is available. David Bakhtiari is a very popular name in terms of offensive tackles that are available. And maybe my top option, and selfishly, I went to Arkansas. This is not a mystery. I like Jason Peters, the tight end turned offensive lineman. He was really good with the Hogs. He has now created quite the NFL resume as well, playing at the professional level. And then Riley Reiff is also an option that you could have. And these are all players that are on the outside, because I'm not necessarily sold that Trevor Penning is going to be great. Josiah Ezerim is hurt. Taliese Fuaga is dealing with an injury now. I'm a little nervous, but the interior is also a problem. You go get Phil Haynes, go get Mark Glowinski, you could get Justin Pugh or Trey Turner, who last year the Saints brought in around training camp. And then if you remember how that all went down, he got hurt less than 48 hours into being a New Orleans Saint. So the homecoming massively ruined for Trey Turner. And at the end of the day, where the current state of the offensive line is, we need a miracle. The offensive line is not going to be anything amazing. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but unless Trevor Penning overnight figures it out, unless Cesar Ruiz starts playing at a consistently high level, unless Eric McCoy stops getting in scraps at practice, which I'm okay with for the record, but Eric McCoy being the best part of the offensive line, and then the second best being a rookie offensive tackle, I'm nervous. I'm worried, and I'm terrified. And so for this question, I'm hammering at least my 10s. If I could, I would type my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, hell, I'd type 100. I am extremely nervous about this offensive line. Now, how do you feel about the offensive line? If you have zero concern, if you have no problem, you have no issues, just type a 1 or a 0. That's not going to be the case. I expect to see a lot of 10s. So get down in the comment section. What do you feel about the offensive line, and how confident are you that they can execute their assignments? Now, coming up next, we have a injury update around Rashid Shaheed. Not really happy about that one either. Death, taxes, and the injury bug just absolutely decimating the New Orleans Saints. And then on top of that, we have some discussion around the quarterbacks. We got Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, and we got to talk some QB stuff because, hey, it's not John Gruden's quarterback camp. It's Trizzy Trace's quarterback camp. But first, we got to discuss and shout out and say thank you to our awesome sponsors, and that is Prize Picks, my favorite daily fantasy sports app. And Prize Picks is the #1 DFS app in North America for a really, really good reason. It's easy, it's fun, and on top of that, you can win real money in real time. Prize Picks is America's #1 DFS app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Now, unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's actually just you against the numbers. And if you do use our code CLNS when you download the Prize Picks app, you will get a first deposit match up to $100. And if you want to go and put out some projections for the MLB, WNBA, that's all stuff that's going on right now. But I really am excited about these season-long projections because I think it's a lot of fun and it's cool early in the offseason to just get all my projections done now, and maybe we can see if we can win some money here in a few months. Call it a Christmas gift to myself in the future because I know that these are going to hit. Chris Olave, over 1,100 yards. That's a lock. That is free money right there. Derek Carr, 3,424.5 yards. Might be a little tough, but I think he can do it. I got faith. Sort of. Not really, but sort of. And then Kirk Cousins. It's F the Falcons. It's F Atlanta. I will never, ever, 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 ever project them to do anything right. So I'm going to take Kirk Cousins to go with the less. Now, you guys can go and set up some Prize Picks selections when you download the Prize Picks app. And when you use our code CLNS, you'll get a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. So download the Prize Picks app today and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. One more time, that's code CLNS, and you will get a first deposit match. What did I say? Up to $100. Prize Picks, run yo game. All right, let's talk about some injury updates around Rashid Shaheed. Now, this is, if you remember, he was injured. He came back to practice. He was in the red non-contact jersey. And then Catherine Terrell and Nick Underhill and everybody put out an injury update that Rashid Shaheed is dealing with a toe or foot injury. Dennis Allen didn't specify. He said it's one of the two. But to be quite honest, I am not okay with that. I am not happy about it. The wide receiver room is very beat up. And Rashid Shaheed, my sweet prince, don't like seeing him get hurt. And I'm just going to keep it real with you. All jokes aside, if you lose Shaheed, that's bad news. It's really, really bad. And there are some good players on the depth chart for the wide receivers. I mean, you have Cedric Wilson, you have A.T. Perry. You have players that can do a lot of good things. But at the end of the day, when it comes to Rashid Shaheed, it has to be a lot better. And when it comes to Rashid Shaheed, not that his production needs to be better, but his usage needs to be better. And he is a player that when he has the ball in his hands, is very, very good. And he's very, very dynamic. And he's very, very electric. All that being said, it's impossible for him to have an impact if he can't be on the field. And his impact isn't just as a receiver. It's in special teams as well. And he is a player who is extremely, extremely dangerous when he has the ball in his hands. In fact, he was one of the top 10 highest producers in terms of all-purpose yards last season. Now, there are a few free agent wide receivers that I want to discuss that I think could be an option. And Sure, we could talk about going and getting Michael Thomas, and we could talk about going and signing Hunter Renfrow. And, JuJu Smith-Schuster, he most recently got released by the Patriots, so that's an option, but I'm not going to sit here and say that these are good options. The fact that Michael Thomas hasn't signed yet, it sucks. His downfall needs to be studied. The Netflix documentary will be amazing, but I also don't want to bank on a connection that was really strong a few years ago. I also don't want to bank on a player who's been cut and released and moved around the league like it's a beer at a college tailgate. I'm not going to do all that. And to be honest, my big free agency splash move that made sense was Justin Simmons. Now that's off the table, so there's really not many offensive linemen that are worth a damn. Not many wide receivers that are worth a damn. But that doesn't mean that things won't be made available. When roster cuts happen here in the next few weeks, who knows who's going to get cut? Nobody predicted Justin Simmons being released. I'm old enough to remember a few years ago, even last year, nobody expected Blake Grupe to beat Will Lutz as the starting kicker. So depending on how these roster battles go across the league for all 31 other teams, maybe that can give an opportunity to another player in New Orleans. So right now, in the current state of the free agent market, in the current state of the New Orleans Saints, not a lot of options available. If one does become available and the Saints make a move, I can tell you one thing. We will be going and getting you a video ASAP. Depending on who the player is, depending on what the roster move is, we're going to keep you guys updated. So be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, hit that big red sub button. Smack it like you're seeing your redheaded stepchild for the first time. Smack it like it's never mind. I'm not going to get into it. We're trying to have some fun, but we're trying to keep it family friendly. All right, let's get into an injury update around Spencer Rattler. You guys remember a couple days ago, he actually missed some practice. He was sitting out because he was dealing with a thigh contusion. Good news for him. He spoke with media after practice today. He's 100% good to go. We should expect to see quite a bit of the Rattlesnake against San Francisco in preseason week 2. And as for Jake Haener, he's looking really good. He continues to show a lot of good things. He continues to operate and manage and run the offense well. He continues to be a player that will not give up, that is trying to fight and successfully fighting and earning a spot as the QB2. Do not sleep on Jake Haener. Do not forget about this guy because he is a good football player. And actually, I think he does a really good job of fitting in what the offense is trying to do. And Haener would agree. I think this quote is extremely telling. I think Jake Haener knows what the offense is trying to move to. And I think that Haener knows that he can do it at a high level. The fact that he's saying, I feel like throwing on the run is my strength, that's really good news for offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. Now, when it comes to the quarterback movement, that's going to be really, really important for a number of reasons. One, it's important for the quarterback to have more time and to buy more time. Two, it can mask the offensive line's poor play. That's just something that's really, really beneficial. Three, it can make opposing defenses, the rushing lane's really difficult to get to the quarterback. It can make it unpredictable. You're more likely to possibly have a busted coverage or broken defense. And on top of that, it also gives the receivers the ability to make more plays because you're not getting sacked right away. The pressure comes in and you're not just, all right, flip it, get it out of bounds, and we move on. No, it's really, really beneficial. And while all of that is good, it's not going to entirely mask the poor offensive line play. So to a certain extent, figure it out, get it together, and do your jobs. Execute your assignments. It's really easy for me to say in my air-conditioned studio here on YouTube, but at the end of the day, the reality is the offensive line, I think the best option is just figuring it out. So let's talk about the quarterbacks, though, because I think that we're going to see Derek Carr every game this season, pending an injury. But what do you think? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you disagree. Do you think Rattler or Jake Haener will start a game this season? Just type start or type bench. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And guys, I hope to see y'all at our watch party on Sunday. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you then.